Today's topics from Reuters Breakingviews. CME's plans for a derivatives exchange in London means it avoids tackling the New York Stock Exchange and Deutsche Börse head-on. We'll talk about that in a minute. And investors will judge China and Russia differently after the recent high-profile guilty verdicts. With me is Robert Cole. Morning, Robert.
Morning.
You think this is a timely push the CME is making on Europe and a savvy one of that?
No, looks really well timed and really good business for the CME, and I think quite good for European users of the exchanges as well. It's canny because they're not taking on Deutsche Börse and NYSE's LIFI directly. They're starting off in foreign exchanges, as I understand it, which is an area where the competitors are less good. But it still means that, so that means that they have a realistic chance of getting into the market and getting going. You know, they're a huge player. They're very competent, but it's still difficult breaking into markets. So strategically, that's good, and I think for the market itself, it's good because I think we have a hope of better and broader competition. I don't think it's right to have just two players really, but it's also canny, this move. We're not sure whether it's more by luck or judgment, but if the CME had made this play 6-9 months ago when Deutsche and NYSE were talking about their own merger, that merger might have had a greater chance of getting through because clearly there would have been a greater competitive atmosphere, a greater competitive environment. Canny. Good news for everyone, really.
I want to move on to this Gukai Lai verdict and the Pussy Riot verdict on Friday. Yes, this is about the rule of law. This is about how investors view these countries as well.
John's piece is making a very simple point, really, and looking as if the glass is half full. You see the Pussy Riot verdict of last week and this one today. Ostensibly, they look pretty similar. Although, in terms of the sort of context and the political overtones and the ramifications, investors, though, are where they're going to be very cautious, if not unnerved, about the Pussy Riot ruling, are going to be quite comfortable, probably, with the fact that order has been maintained. This is going off-piste a little bit. It's not in John's piece, but I'm wondering, hang on, hey, I thought what about the rule of law here? Aren't we worried about, whether there is a right or a wrong answer?
Well,
both of these rulings seem to be being made. It's hard for one sort of political experience.
But the point John makes on China, from an investor's perspective, is that they're more concerned with the maintenance of political calm rather than the rule of law.
Absolutely, and on that level, and it's a very important level, and I'm not going to try and disagree with John on that, but on that level, it's a good ruling. Investors can sleep a little bit more easily in their beds because the powers that be in Beijing have control. All I'm trying to say is that perhaps looking at it in a slightly different way, investors might have some concerns that, the court rulings, the legal process seems to be being subverted to political expediency of one sort or another. And while you can sort of breathe a sigh of relief that that's happening in this way in China, you can also step back and say, well, actually, in another set of circumstances, it might not work out quite so well. And actually, isn't it sort of one of those kind of, goalposts of democracy that we tried to get to the right answer rather than one that just suits.
Before we finish, I want to mention these numbers in terms of foreign investment: $114 billion over the past 12 months into China. So it's a levelling off since 2011. Fine,
still a lot of money.
But outflows of $81 billion from Russia. In 2011. And that's double what it was in 2010. So that says a lot.
Yeah, it does. Clearly, investors are happier with investments in China than they are in Russia, and that's for good reasons.
OK, Robert, many thanks. That's it. For more insight, watch our US Breakingviews show every day, 12:30 Eastern, 17:30 BST. I'm Axel Threlfall. This is Reuters.